long agenda since it was delayed from last week. Thanks everybody for coming this week. The agenda is accept the retirement, the first one of Officer William Ty. 2, Frank S. Backer, appointment of police officer. 3, appoint Antonio J. Bell. 4, demote Edward Losey in the Water Department. 5, promote Thomas Colgan in the Water Department. 6, appoint the delegates for Association of Towns. 7, stop DWI agreement with the county. 8, set a date for public hearing of Town Code Amendment, Chapter 183, Veterans Exemptions. 9, set a date for public hearing, Town Code Amendment 148, Parks and Recreation. 10, set a date for public hearing, Town Code Amendment, Chapter 57 and 105, dog enumeration. 11, authorize the supervisor to sign grant award agreements with a mapping program, grant program, and a planning and engineering grant program. 12, appoint records management advisory board members. 13, a tax search settlement with Daniel Associates. 14, an easement agreement with 15 Lincoln Drive. 15, supervisor to form the master plan review committee and appoint the members. 16, authorize the town clerk to advertise requests for proposals of relocation and consolidations of facilities. 17, notification of following claim referred to legal. 18, accept the town board minutes for November 15th, December 6th, and December 20th. And we have 2 SC items, which are SC1 is a budget transfer due to a water main break, and SC2 is to appoint a new director of municipal development. I'd like to make a motion to suspend the rules for any comments on agenda items.
Second. Move.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody like to comment? Doreen?
So special consent item number 2, appoint the Director of Municipal Development. When I looked earlier today, I didn't see anything on the website posted about that. So is this person going to be a town employee? Is it a consultant?
It's a full-time town employee.
Full-time town employee?
Yes.
Okay. And the salary for that?
$99,000.
$99,000. Okay, thank you. Agenda item 11B, one of the grant items, said $100,000 to upgrade the Spackenkill pump station. So is that the same pump station that has the subject of the DEC order
Correct.
of consent? And has any progress been made on that?
We're working with the DEC, file the consent order paperwork, and this is the first step to redoing the pump station, decide whether it has to be moved, relocated, whether we can raise it to get out of the floodplain. This is just the very beginning phase, and we got a grant for that.
And actually, I'm surprised that you haven't had people in here complaining about the smell that comes from there. Sometimes it's really, really terrible, and I'm surprised that people haven't come to town.
We had a complaint earlier this year, and we went over and changed the charcoal filters, and it seemed to have gone away for now.
All right, and then my last comment, I guess, is same as I always make for this, number 13, the reduction in taxes. It's you're lowering the taxes for Daniele Associates, almost $3,000 refund for the town, about $1,900 for the Arlington Fire District, and again, the rest of the town residents end up picking up the slack for those people. And also, one of the things that the legal fees for that, when you pay Vanderwater and Vanderwater, does that come out of the budget you have for the assessments, or does that come out of the legal expense line?
I'm not sure. I will check. I
think Kathleen
it
has a
comes out
line
of
in her item.
Does Kathy have a line?
I'm pretty sure she does. I'll double check the read. I'll let you know in the morning.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else like to address the town board with any item on the agenda? If not, could a motion to resume the rules?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yep.
Be resolved that the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept with regret the retirement of William Ty, police officer of the town of Poughkeepsie Police Department, effective March 2nd, 2018. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions or comments? I will say it was a pleasure having Bill in many years and dealing with Bill in the capacity as a PBA representative for a few years. Wish him luck on his retirement. Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Good luck on your retirement, Mr. Ty.
Resolution 2, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Frank S. Backer to the position of full-time police officer under the provisions of the Civil Service Law at the yearly salary of $59,000.37, effective February 26, 2018, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 26 no more than 52 weeks per Civil Service Law. Be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Welcome aboard. Congratulations. Good luck.
Resolution number 3, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Antonio J. Bell to the position of full-time police officer under the provisions of the Civil Service Law dealing with a resignation reinstatement at the yearly salary of $59,000.37, effective February 26, 2018, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 26 nor more than 52 weeks per service law, and be it further resolved that the supervisor is hereby authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Any old Mr. Taylor, give me a second.
It was different when I started 12 years ago. And have people shoot kids in school.
This is crazy.
We had Timothy Leary out. No Brooke or whatever that was.
Okay, Mike.
Be it resolved, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby demote Edward Lothi from the position of Deputy Water Superintendent to Water Maintenance Mechanic with the Town of Poughkeepsie Water Department, effective February 12, 2018, and an annual salary of $70,000 as requested by Keith Ballard, Water Superintendent. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Second.
The motion second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution 5, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby provisionally appoint Thomas Colgan to the position of Deputy Water and Superintendent with the Town of Poughkeepsie Water Department, effective February 12, 2018, at an annual salary of $72,000, which appointment is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per Civil Service Law. And be it further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to execute and file all documentation required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions with this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations, Tom.
Be resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint John J. Baisley as a delegate to the Association of Towns and Jeffrey Renahan as the alternate delegate, and be further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize and approve the attendance of all elected and non-elected officials with prior Town Board approval to the annual meeting of the Association of Towns. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Be it resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor's execution of the 2018 Stop DWI Program Drug Recognition Expert Agreement with the County of Dutchess, a copy which is attached. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 21st day of February 2018 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider amendments to the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Code, Chapter 183, Article 3, 183-9, specifically 183-9F, which amendments are as follows, with the words underlined to be added and those words stricken to be deleted, 183-9. F, additional Cold War veteran provisions. This subsection provides for a 15% exemption of assessed value of the properties in amount not to exceed $12,000, and further provides for an exemption for disabled veterans not to exceed $40,000. Which exemptions shall apply to qualified owners of qualifying real property for as long as they remain qualifying owners without regards to a 10-year limitation. And be it further resolved that the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie determines that this action is a Type 2 action and does not determine that determines that no environmental action is required. And be it further resolved that said local law, if adopted, shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution 9. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 21st day of February 2018 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York, as and for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider amendments to Town Code, Chapter 148, entitled Parks, Recreation. A copy of the proposed amendment with language to be added underscored and language to be deleted stricken is here attached hereto and incorporated herein, and the Town Board does hereby waive a verbatim reading of said amendment. And does direct that said amendment be spread across the record as if it in fact had been read verbatim, and be it further resolved that the Town Board does hereby waive verbatim reading and does direct that the said amendments be spread across the record as if they had in fact been read verbatim, and be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does determine that this is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review, and be it further resolved that said amendments, if adopted, will take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any questions on that one?
Yeah, actually, the rec committee, we've gone over this and we'd like to make some changes to section T, which is, it's the second one there, is limiting what can be done with the parks. And after it says that you're not allowed to golf, hunt, or trap at any portion of the park, we'd like to change it to say bike riding, dog walking, rollerblading, and skateboarding. Also saying which are prohibited. So it'd be prohibited to bike riding, dog walking, rollerblading, and skateboarding on tennis courts and park athletic fields. Because we fear that clears up the last where it kind of gets a little bit redundant there.
So you want to add the word dog walking after bike riding?
Right.
Third line, right?
Yeah, and then after tennis courts, strike everything there till it says park athletic fields and make that an and instead of an or. So you're not allowed to do those 4 activities on the tennis courts and the park athletic fields.
Okay. And that was a motion to amend?
Second. Right?
So your
Right,
motion?
I made the motion to amend.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All in favor of the resolution?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 7-0.
Amendment number 10. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby set the 21st day of February 2018 at 7 p.m. at the Town Hall, Town of Poughkeepsie, 1 Over Rocker Road, Poughkeepsie, New York. And as for the time, date, and place of a public hearing to consider amendments to the Town of Poughkeepsie Code relating to animals and Chapter 57, specifically Article 3, 5720C, entitled Fees and Surcharges, 5721D, entitled Issuance of License Identification Tag, and Chapter 105, entitled Fee Schedule, specifically 105-4A, which amendments are as follows, with the words underlined to be added and the word stricken to be deleted. 57-20, Fees and Surcharges. Dog enumeration surcharge. Each dog found to be unlicensed after a published given date during a town dog enumeration shall be subject to a dog enumeration surcharge of $20, payable at the time of the application is filed to license said dog. 57-21, issuance of license, identification tag, D, identification tag. At the time a dog is first licensed, one identification tag shall be furnished to the owner at no additional charge. Any replacement tag shall be obtained by the owner at the owner's expense. Any person wishing to replace a tag previously issued shall pay the sum of $3 to the town clerk for a replacement tag. 105.4 Fee Schedule, Chapter 57, Animals. Dog enumeration fee, $20. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie determines that this action is a Type 2 action and does further determine that no further environmental action is required, and be it further resolved that said local law, if adopted, shall take effect immediately upon filing with the Secretary of State. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be resolved, the Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute a grant agreement application and other required documents to apply for and receiving funding from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and Environmental Facilities Corporation, which funds will be used to update the town's mapping system, and which grant, if awarded, will be for $28,063. And be it further resolved that the Town of Poughkeepsie authorizes and appropriates a maximum of 25%, $9,355, local match of the total project cost, $34,417.50, as required by the mapping grant program for the Town of Poughkeepsie mapping system upgrade. And be it further resolved that this action, which involves ongoing town administration and studies without committing the town to a particular course of action, is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions on this one? Just if anybody doesn't know, this is the mapping software that we got, and right now the interns are mapping all the pipes in the water department. They'll be doing the drainage pipes, so all the old maps that they used to lay out will become obsolete. It should be a tablet capability as time moves on. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Resolution 11B, be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to execute a grant agreement application and other required documents to apply for and receive funding from the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation and the Environmental Facilities Corporation, which funds will be used to update the town's Spackenkill pump station, and which grant, if awarded, will be for $100,000. And be it further resolved that the Town of Poughkeepsie authorizes and appropriates up to 20%, $25,000, maximum local match of the total project cost, $125,000, as required by the engineering planning grant program for the Town of Poughkeepsie Spackenkill pump station upgrade. And be it further resolved that the Town Board does hereby determine that this action is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any questions on this one? This is due, as we said before, a DEC consent order that we're supposed to be working on the Spackenkill pump station. And this qualifies as our next step that we should be doing with the DEC. And hopefully that they're going to give us $100,000 going through the process to get it done. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 0.
Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Felicia Salvador to the Records Management Advisory Board for a 2-year term, which term would expire December 31st, 2019. And be further resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Rebecca Santorani and Kathleen Tabor to the Records Management Advisory Board for a 4-year terms each, commencing January 1st, 2018 through December 31st, 2021, and be further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Charles Ebert to the Records Management Advisory Board for a 3-year term, which expires December 31st, 2019. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this one? These three are all in-house employees spread out throughout the town that should be able to help Felicia going through all the records and trying to
I
clean
say
up.
nay.
No.
No, you can't. But Charles is supposed to be a 3-year term, just so
He's
it,
filling an expired term. There was
Oh,
a few
so-
people that were on the board that passed away.
yes.
So that's,
I knew both of them, so yeah.
so we just did it to the end of that particular
Okay, so
term.
he's completing terms, okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorized the settlement of the tax certiorari proceedings instituted by Danielle Associates LLC for the tax assessment rolls for 2016 and 2017 as shown on the attached. And be it further resolved, the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie is hereby authorized the supervisor or his designee, Town Assessor, and Kyle Barnett of Vanderwater and Vanderwater LLP to sign such papers as are necessary to effectuate said settlement. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions with this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the supervisor to accept a modified drainage easement over the lands of Michael Calabrese and Elizabeth Karwowski, 15 Lincoln Drive, Poughkeepsie, New York, together with a temporary construction easement, and to execute all required documentation therefore. And be it further resolved that the supervisor of the highway superintendent are hereby authorized to execute as part of said easement documents an agreement with the grantors providing that if the work now proposed to be performed by the town highway department within the area of the easement damages the grantor's driveway, the grantors will be reimbursed by the town for 25% of the cost to restore the damaged area, up to a maximum payment of $2,000. And that if an existing drain structure is so damaged, the owner will be reimbursed for the cost of the replacement materials up to a maximum payment of $200. And be it further resolved that this work is part of an ongoing administration of the town and is a type 2 action requiring no environmental review under secret. And be it further resolved that the town clerk is hereby authorized to record the easement and any supporting documents in the Dutchess County Clerk's office. So move.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any questions on that one?
Yes, actually, I do have a question. There seems to be a discrepancy between the actual easement attachment and the resolution. The resolution says that damage to the driveway will be reimbursed 25% of the cost up to a maximum of $2,000. That 25% isn't mentioned at all in the easement agreement. It just says we'll reimburse up to a maximum of $2,000. There's no 25%. And while the maximum $2,000 hasn't changed, the town only paying 25% for damages is very different than covering up to $2,000 of repair.
Okay.
Where did the 25% come from? And that doesn't seem fair that if we're damaging their driveway, that we're gonna stick them with 75% of the bill.
No, Mark's going to explain it to us.
Good evening, Mr. Pfeiffer.
I think I can kind of help out with it. The driveway that's currently there is probably about over 40 years old. It's in pretty bad shape. So when I looked at the length of the driveway, looking at it, I could guesstimate and say if we were to put a new driveway in there, it's probably about a $10,000 driveway, something like that. But I don't feel that the town should pay to fully restore something that's 40 years old that really needs to be replaced already. So in talking about it and doing it, I thought it was a fair thing that if we, cover 25% of the cost, because it's in very bad shape. And the homeowner knows that. So what the problem that we have here is that there's a drainage structure that's in the backyard of number 15 Lincoln Drive that it's been collapsed for quite some time. We never knew about it. This person purchased the house, saw it back there, so in going back there, it's something that we need to replace. We do have an easement between the two houses that currently exist, but the two homeowners have planted probably 30 trees and landscaping, so we can't use our own easement. So, well, we could, but it would cost us a lot more too to use our own easement. So in trying to make the best of both worlds, this seems to be the best way to do it. But in the driveway, we're replacing that part of it, and I thought that our part should be a cap of $2,000 just because it's so old.
Well, I have no problem with the cap. My question is about the 25%, which is not in the agreement, that if they've already signed that, our resolution should match it.
The agreement just reads, grantor will be reimbursed by grantee for the repair of the driveway up to a maximum payment of $2,000. So the 25% just isn't in there. Should that just be added to match the resolution?
Yes.
They should match.
Yeah.
I recall the $2,000. Was it 25%, but not more than 2,000?
I think that's
To your
what it was.
recollection?
I think we felt that if the driveway was damaged, if any of it gets damaged, the whole thing has to be replaced. And I think that we felt that we shouldn't be responsible to pay for more than a quarter of the replacement. And that's where the 25% came into play.
Okay,
And
and
we were-
up to 2,000 maximum actual
Right.
dollars. So what I can do is if you adopt the resolution, this document can be conformed. It's not been recorded. It wouldn't be recorded until after you've approved it. So I can
Mark, I
confirm.
have a question.
attached
If the driveway's in that poor condition and we're only doing a small portion of it, would it just be better just to took $2,000 and put stone in the driveway for them? And if they
I
want
guess
a
it's kind of
blacktop,
up to
they
the
can do the
homeowner. I
portion
mean,
they
if
want.
it gets damaged because we're bringing trucks through it, I think that, you know, I don't know how it'll work, whether they're gonna replace it or not. I think we would have to, you know, we would give them money, and if they choose to replace their driveway, they do. If they don't, they don't. I guess that's kind of the way I was thinking about it. You know, but there's no reason why we should replace a whole driveway for something that's really in.
Oh, I agree.
You know, it's cracked all over the place, you know, it works for them, they use it, and whether, you know, I don't know what they're planning on replacing or not, and, you know, depending on the time of the year, if I can wait till a drier spell where we go in, I'm hoping that we don't do any damage to it. But you don't know until you start going on it.
Is there a chance that our equipment in this will make their driveway unusable?
No, I think it'll always be usable.
Okay.
You know, the blacktop might break up, or whatever we do would always make it so they can get in and out every night.
Okay.
You know, I don't think it's gonna create big ruts, and if it did, and if I had to put some item for them to keep them using it until they could replace it, we would do whatever it takes so they're not inconvenienced. So,
All right, thank you.
okay.
All right, so we'll make sure the resolution matches the agreement.
I will. Anything else?
We'll leave it like that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you, Mark.
Sure.
Be it resolved, Town Board, Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint the following individuals to the Town of Poughkeepsie Master Plan Review Committee, to wit, Kristen Gaynor, Planner; Jeffrey Renahan, First Ward Councilman; Bill Carlos, Second Ward Councilman; Ann Shershin, Sixth Ward Councilwoman; and John Wiseman, Planning Board Chairman. So moved.
The motion second. Any questions on this one?
Excuse me,
Yeah.
is John Wiseman on the copy that you have?
Yeah, I put him on my copy.
Pardon me?
I put him on my copy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So anybody that
The discussion should be put on there. As I discussed, this is going to be a very much a team effort for all the wards. We're going to try to reach out and go to every ward and make sure the councilman in that ward is very visible and very involved in where they go. And we're going to try, we've discussed holding as many meetings as possible here and try to televise all the meetings that are here so people can actually get the input. And our new director of development, this is one of the things that he's done numerous times over. So once he gets in, we hope we can get him on this too, that we'll get this moving. And Kristen, in her previous career, she was like a second foot to doing these kind of projects too. So I think we finally have the staff on hand that'll move this forward. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7.
Oh, sorry, it's me. Resolution 16. Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby authorize the town clerk to advertise proposals for the relocation and consolidation of town facilities with the Arlington Fire District, pursuant to a request for proposals which will be available on February 16th, 2018, in the office of the town clerk and online. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby reserve the right to accept or reject all proposals in whole or in part. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby determine that this work involves conducting studies which will not commit the town to undertake or fund any unlisted or Type 1 action, and that it is a Type 2 action requiring no environmental review. So moved.
Second.
Motion second. Any questions on this? All of this money is coming to county shared service grant. And there's no commitment when we get done. This is just the beginning base to decide if we can consolidate or if we can't, go out. So if anybody's got any input that they'd like, they can either come to the meetings or just let us know, and we'll try to address everybody's issues that they have on these. Favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay.
0.
Okay, number 17 is a notification of a claim against the town. And number 18, be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby accept the minutes of the following 2017 Town Board meetings, to wit, November 15th, 2017, regular Town Board meeting, December 6th, 2017, regular Town Board meeting, December 20th, 2017, Town Board Committee of the Whole meeting. So moved.
Second.
Do we have a motion second? Any questions on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Be Be it resolved, the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby grant special consent to the following items to wit. 1, modify the 2018 budget of the Water Department, reference to the overlook water main break. 2, appoint Michael Welty to Director of Municipal Development. Be it further resolved that upon the objection of any member of the Town Board, an item may be removed from the list and voted on separately. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions now? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0.
Special consent 1, be resolved that the Town Board of Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby modify the 2018 budget pursuant to the attached budgetary transfer request form submitted by the comptroller to cover the cost of a water main break on Overlook Road, the Water Department as follow. From F8310-0489 lab testing $40,000 to F8340-0446 repair and maintenance $40,000. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Better luck, Keith. Hopefully this is the end of those.
Be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Poughkeepsie does hereby appoint Michael Welty to the position of Director of Municipal Development with the Town of Poughkeepsie at a salary of $99,000, which is subject to a probationary period of not less than 8 nor more than 26 weeks per civil service law, effective March 5th, 2018. And be it further resolved that the supervisor designee is authorized to execute and file all documents required by the Dutchess County Department of Human Resources in connection with this appointment. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any questions on this one?
I'm looking forward to working with Michael. He's worked with us before, and I'm sure we're going to get very good service. I'm glad we have somebody that's going to be in-house every day as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I also had the pleasure of interviewing him. He comes with a wealth of experience, and he has worked on projects in the town before. He's been in the area a long time, and he's done many master plans, so it's a good fit.
Michael?
He interviewed very well.
Yeah.
And he interviewed with the idea that I would work with him, and I didn't even, I mean, he's that kind of very open, very calm person, which in planning is probably a good thing.
He comes with a wealth of experience. He was a Director of Municipal Development for the City of Peekskill for numerous years. He's done projects throughout Saratoga Springs. He worked for Chazen for a few years. He was with Patterns for Progress a few years back. He's also done a lot of teachings at Pace Land Use, so he's got a good reputation. And he said he worked with us many years ago on the Hudson Heritage Project. I think when the second owners were here, he had a small stint that he was here working for a company. We hired him from the outside to work with us on that project. He just said he interviewed very well, and all the members have looked at his resume, and I think they were all very happy with it was, and it was a team effort, I think, amongst all of us interview him, and I think we're all probably on the same page that probably going to be a pretty decent employee to work with, and the fact that we'll have him here 5 days a week, I think will be a benefit. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Come to the end of the agenda, then make a motion to suspend the rules for any item.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody have anything to say? Mr. Armstrong?
I guess just a clarification on number 4 and number 5. And it said that the gentleman, is he still making the 70,000 or that's what he was making?
No, his salary went down.
It went down to wherever he was moved to?
Yeah.
And
He went down, he had the position, he was not,
Oh, okay. I don't want to be details.
yeah, it was nothing bad.
The person that was promoted though got a 2,000 raise over that salary then, right?
No, the other gentleman was making more than 70, so they went down.
Oh,
in the
already?
middle. Yeah.
Okay. One other old statement. Number 15, you talk about televising the master plan works and whatever. You said you're going to televise it. I still got to say that the TV has no sound. I just called my wife to check and there's no sound. There's a picture, but there's still no sound.
What cable company do you have?
Who the heck do I have? Verizon. I've always had the sound. I've got sound on every other channel.
Yeah, because we have,
I haven't
checked
had the
with my
sound on that
deputies
channel
and
for the
she
last
hears it.
few months.
yeah, And Mark's been checking the night he went in there, it's working in here perfect. It's
In
somewhere.
here, it must have, why wouldn't it work on my house when it always did
Yeah, I don't
before?
know. He'll go back, because he ran and checked after you were here last month.
I know,
Yeah.
he come out at the end and showed me on his phone.
I've checked
that it
with
was-
other people too
that it
since
was
you said
working.
that, Joe.
Huh?
I've checked with some other people since you've said that, and they said it works, and they have Verizon. So I don't know.
It don't make sense that just
No.
mine would go out
I
and every
don't-
other channel works.
Yeah, no, we'll have them reach out to them and see if there's a reason, there's something wrong in your area.
Very strange.
Yeah,
Something wrong somewhere because
Yeah.
everything else works.
Maybe your wife
Matter
is
of fact, the
muting it.
screen was black all the last couple of days. The screen was totally black during the day, where there's usually something on it, advertisement or, town business that's coming up. It's been absolutely nothing. But the picture came on and still no voice.
That's weird.
So to watch something without a voice, what good is it?
yeah, I'll have
I
them
can't
call
believe
again.
it's just my area unless for some reason it's not coming into my location.
Yeah, we'll see if he'll call Verizon, because it's been working. I said, I've asked a few people, and most of them were Optimum, and we've had no issues down there, so I'll have them reach out again to see what it is. Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me.
Pretty strange.
Are you on
And it is on YouTube too.
No, he's on Verizon.
or are you on
He's
Verizon?
got Verizon.
I'm on Verizon.
Yeah.
I'm on Verizon. I never have trouble with anything else, any other station, even if there's nothing going. There's something there telling you that it's government channel or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the picture is there. And there's a couple other groups, political groups, town boards in other areas that there's just a picture and no sound. Which, I
That's
don't know,
odd.
That's weird.
it's crazy. All right, thank you.
Is there any?
So regarding the RFP for the consolidation of facilities, number 16, tonight you said just the town and AFD, and previously when you had talked about it, you also said that one of the school districts, I guess it was Spackenkill, was
If we find the right
interested?
location, Doreen, and certain things, Spatkill, they said they'd be interested if we found the right location, had enough property of them working with us.
Okay, so they're just potential.
Yeah.
Okay. I had sent an email to the town board on February 6th, and this is about, water board. And I did get a response from Councilman Renahan, and my concern was that the legal counsel that the Poughkeepsie Joint Water Board is hiring wants to renew at a charge that for legal services of $195 per hour. And that's more than the town pays for Vanderwater and Vanderwater to provide legal counsel for the town. Their rate is $165 per hour for partners and $155 per hour for associates. And so for the water board, the person there is Scott Volkman. He's not a partner. And so basically, we're paying $195 for somebody from a law firm who's not a partner. And, again, that's like, $40 more an hour that the town board is paying. And, this is what happens when you don't put out for an RFP. So, even though it's a separate section of the budget, people are still, town residents and city residents are still paying for it. I think this is a problem that you run into when you don't put a request for a proposal out there. And also, the engineering firm, again to hire, is Morris Associates. And they gave themselves a 3% raise. And in there, they said the reason was that they had not raised their rates since 2013. Well, I bet there's a lot of town residents who haven't gotten raises since 2013. So I don't know why just automatically, saying, well, we haven't had a raise in a couple of years, so we're going to, increase it 3%. And again, no RFP. You don't know if anybody is willing to do it for, a lesser cost. And I know it was put off at the last water board meeting to the next meeting when there's a whole board present because there were 2 people missing. But again, I, don't see why we're not getting the best possible price.
I agree, and as I said, we put it off until the next meeting so the whole board can discuss the direction they want to go in. We also put off the third one, which was the accounting firm. We put them all off.
Right. And the other thing, again, is about the 5 o'clock planning board meetings, a change in time. I am really, against that. I know you're going to say that you don't have any input to that. It's decided on the by planning board members, but you appoint those planning board members. And, 5 o'clock, how many people can get out of work in time to go to a planning board meeting at 5 o'clock? Years ago, it was 7 o'clock. Then they moved it up to 6 o'clock. Now it's 5 o'clock. I just think that, there's a lack of transparency. They're not making it easy for people to attend. And I know, Jay, you said, well, if there's a public hearing, they should start later. Well, okay, so tomorrow night's agenda showed 3 public hearings. The Raymond Avenue School, which I think is an important one. McDonald Heights, out on 44, the Kirchhoff project, that's a big project. River Point, that's in First Ward, on the corner of, is it Post Road and Route 9? So you want to get to a public hearing, you got to be there at 5 o'clock. It's, again, I think it's just unfair. And, when you say people are, volunteers and they want to go right from work to these meetings, hey, then don't take the volunteer position. If you don't want to devote the time to it, then don't take the position. If you don't want to do it, if you don't have the best interests of the public at heart, I don't think you should be on the board. And again, some of the people have been on the board, like the chairman, probably for like 20-something years. And I think this is just a matter of convenience. And as far as fees, when you were talking about a while ago, sometime last year, I have it here in my notes somewhere, Neil Wilson, when you were talking about reapproving projects and lowering the cost only 10%, I brought up the fees. Well, 10% of fees, is that going to cover the cost? And it was like, oh yeah, it was going to cover it, not a problem. So, if the fees are supposed to cover, town employees, and then the developers pick up, and let's face it, most of the planning board items are not individual people. A lot of them are for development projects. They're paying for the engineers and people to be here. So that really shouldn't be a town expense. I'm just against the 5 o'clock. I think 6 o'clock, is the earliest. And, like I said, we've had some people that, don't even make it to meetings, on time at 7 o'clock. So it's, I think there should be some changes to planning board members. And then my last thing is when you're talking about the master plan, I would hope that this time around you would also put a little more emphasis on preservation of natural resources. You've heard me talk over the years about tree cutting in the town. And even if you don't care about it for environmental reasons, for stormwater reasons, you should. Open space, leaving trees and not replanting with these, little ornamental trees, encouraging people to plant more, wildflower mixes. Like, I don't know if you've noticed a lot of places on the Taconic Parkway, right over here in the jug handle, coming off the, 4455 here. Yeah, there's that whole DEC area, DOT area where it says Project Wildflower. So you cut down on the amount of mowing, you're cut down on the gas use, fumes, the whole thing. So I think a little more attention needs to be paid to preservation of natural resources in the town, especially the town. I know you're part of the consortium there with the Riverkeeper for protecting water resources because of the Hudson River is the source of our drinking water. All of these things contribute. Construction site runoff, it's number one pollutant of the river. So everything is connected. So like I said, if you don't care about it for environmental reasons per se, then care about it for dollars and cents and for your drinking water. So.
Thanks,
last
Tony.
thing, American Legion has this sign out here, and I know I talked to you about that, Jay. It's attached to the directional sign out here, the one-way sign, which is really, against town code, and there's an awful lot of.
She called them, yesterday, so I don't know what her verdict was before we go down and take them down.
Okay,
Yeah,
because the town code does say that things can't be attached to sign poles like that. And again, even if you don't want to cite people on the first time, if you call them and just, make them take it down, there's an awful lot of them. And I know I talked to you, and I did send an email about something to the new zoning administrator, and she responded right away. So hopefully that's a good sign.
Yeah, and she responded to that right away, and she contacted them. I don't know what her final verdict was on, how long before they take it down, before she goes out and takes them down.
Okay,
Yeah, because they don't belong there.
great. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Motion to resume the rules?
Nope.
Wait.
Keith, come on up.
Treat him right, he'll turn the water.
That was a slow move.
Hi, this is in regards to the leak we had on the 30-inch water main on Overocker Road. I just want to personally and publicly thank Mark Pfeiffer, the highway guys, Frank Ozani from the sewer, and my guys. We worked a couple days straight in 0-degree weather, and we got this accomplished without putting anybody out of water, which I think is a major accomplishment. We do need work in the future to operate some of these valves, repair some of these valves on the bigger pipe. But these guys working together, which we do always, it saved the town probably half the cost. If we had to go out to a contractor, it would have been prevailing rate. But these guys are amazing. And what they went through, standing in water up to their knees in 0-degree weather. I just want to thank them very much.
No, Keith, I agree with you. It's 100%. So we've thanked them before, and we also took really to heart your consideration about exercising the valves. I know Charlie's already talked to a couple of council people in reference to a way going forward so we can get some kind of program going so this gets taken care of sooner than later.
System's getting older.
Yeah.
Like I said, I saw I didn't make it up to this one, but I mean, I saw the ones like you guys did there on Spring Road, how you guys all work together. Like I said, it is saving the taxpayers a lot of money. It's good to see that everybody works together.
And I also like
Good
to
job.
thank Arlington Fire Department who was there. They used one of their pumper trucks because when we did the bypass, we had to equalize the pressure so we could shut the gate off. And they were able to hook onto a hydrant and supply that service for us.
It's good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? No? If not, can I have a motion to resume the rules?
Second.
Second. All's in favor?
Aye.
Well, before you read that, Jeff.
Yep.
Just so people know, we put Town of Poughkeepsie Delivers online last week. It's an information engine that, if anybody wants to sign up for it, it'll tell us multiple different things. One thing will be notes from the supervisor's office. The assessor's office will come out and she'll tell people when their exemptions are due and, any other alerts that, seniors sign up for STAR would need. The court schedule's being canceled or court calendars will be out there. There'll be a page for highway and public works for different things like Mark will put the leaf schedule, transfer station dates on it, road closures, any emergencies. The Recreation Department will also have a section for park updates, programs, summer camps, senior center updates. The receiver of taxes will have her own page. The town board will have a page with the meetings in. We'll put the minutes out there. Felicia will be putting the agendas out on her page. The planning board will be putting their calendars and stuff out there. The zoning board will be doing the same. And the police will be working with an alert program. So if they have any alerts, they're out there. And this program works through, you can get emails, you can get text, and it'll Twitter to you. So most of the town employees have been trained on it already. We've sent some messages out, so hopefully people got them. And we only have a couple hundred people signed up, but it's working. I think everybody's getting them. Felicia had a whole list of people she used to send the agendas out to, and she's getting them all to sign up for this, so it'll make her job easier. It's a one-shot, so it should be really easy to do. And we have like a water main break, we should be able to put things like that out, so you won't necessarily need an alert going to the newspapers as much. We'll still use that, but this I definitely should make it a lot easier for concerts being canceled and day camp, something happens, and we want to put them inside or something. This should make definitely information going out from the town a lot easier, and it takes just seconds for us to put something together. So if anybody hears this, just go on the town website, it'll pop up on there, and you can just fill it out. It takes a couple seconds to choose what you want, and once you get done with it, there's other ones in there. Dutchess County's tied to it. A couple of the other towns and cities are tied to it, so you can sign up for any information you want, and it'll all come across.
I just wanted to say, Jay, that I'm not going to be sending minutes out on that because people would freak out. That's going to be like the whole packet scanned in and I put them on
All right.
the website. That would be a little bit too much, I think, for people to get in their email.
If they don't want it? All right.
No, they'd be getting off of that pretty quick.
Bless you. Maybe a couple that want it.
Agendas and different announcements and
If anybody
got
has,
the thing about Cooper today, and I thought that was cute.
if anybody's got any ideas of what they think we should put on there, let us know. We'll make sure that
Absolutely.
gets sent out too. If anybody's got any special events going on in their wards, we can put that out to a couple of different avenues. We sent something out with Felicia the other day, and I sent it out from my office and also hers, so we know we're covering both bases for now till we figure out exactly where we're going. That's all I got. Jeff?
Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Poughkeepsie does hereby adjourn to executive session and consider the following matters to wit. 1, litigation, to discuss litigation strategy of the case known as Fairview Fire District Box Run at Fulton and Dig, New York. 2, confidential communication between the attorney and his client, the town board based on the attorney-client privilege. And 3, matters leading to the appointment, employment, dismissal, or removal of a person, firm, or corporation. So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Town board goes into executive session at 7:51 PM.